Hello everyone. We have now come to the conclusion of 2 interesting days of discussion on universal ethics for the 21st century towards a common understanding, organized by Tibet House, the Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and Samyeling Tibetan Settlement Office. For the valedictory session, may I request Venerable Geshe Dorje Damdula to chair the session. Thank you.
As all of us witnessed that this conference is a historic event of Samyeling, Tibetan settlement, and we have this very brilliant visionary leader of this settlement here, Mr. Pinsola, and all the scholars, and then the really working with the Tibetan staff, and with Mr. Pinsola, and also the designer of all the booklets and so forth, Mr. Dochin Lamgela, and we have Dr. Kaviriji, who has been, despite her very busy schedule in the university, giving teachings there, and of course her attending many other programs, like attending conferences, meetings, and so forth, and making it a point not to really neglect this program. And she put so much of hard work, time, resources, and so forth towards this. So we all should be feeling extremely grateful. And of course, the Tibet House staff there, and who have been tirelessly working towards this endeavor. And so it's because of the efforts that we are able to enjoy our time together here, and all the staff and the volunteers of the the Samyeling settlement here, the volunteers there. So what we do is that, say, what is going to be like, say, one is takeaway from this 2-day conference, because the one is the one who conceived the idea, and one is who really worked so hard, whose heart and soul is with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and with the Tibetan people and for the good of the world. So let us say the takeaway. Number 1 is takeaway, and number 2, what kind of blueprint can we think of for the universal ethics in the future, given that there are so many youngsters here, and how can we bring this forward? So keeping this in mind, let me first invite Professor Kaviriji to share her views and advice to all of us here. Yeah.
Thank you, Geshe-la. So that one doesn't work. So I'll keep it short, but I just want to take this opportunity to say a few things. So this conference was different. When Venerable Geshe-la approached me with Kungo Punsakla, we discussed, or we thought about, this notion of bringing together scholars and academics. So normally there's people who are interested in the question of universal ethics as a concept, and then there's another community, and I happen to straddle both worlds. And the fact is that in the panels 2 and 3, we heard from a lot of people, again, academics and scholars supposedly, who are looking at challenges on the ground, or in terms of the future. And so it has been an experiment, and I think it's worked, and here is why I think. And in a way, it's illustrative of the concept of interdependence from start to finish. So I have had the great fortune all my life to have tremendous teachers. It's just one of those things where, I've just gone from teacher to teacher. And Venerable Geshe-la spoke about, a star in the daytime, like His Holiness, and I think that's true, because, people who don't speak his language, who have never seen him, who don't know him across the world, they interact, and they take away something very powerful. So, but for our day-to-day life, it's also important to have role models and inspirations that are slightly, much further ahead still, and yet still give you the sense that it is feasible to get there. So I have had that good fortune. So I will begin by saying that I want to thank all the people that made this possible. And I will begin with Geshe Dorji Damdolla, who is the director of Tibet House, who is a scholar, academic, practitioner, and many other things to infinite numbers of people. Whenever I'm tired, as Robin La mentioned, I think, who is getting more number of messages that are more desperate from many more people, and then I take the next step, and that's how it goes, how you are going to take some steps, fail many times, and others not. I also want to mention that this is a place, Majnu-Ka-Tilla, I've visited many times. I love it. So I have also been to this building many times, and I never thought that one day on the top floor we'd have such a conference. I want to say one thing about the Tibetan people. It's not really, I do love Tibetans. It's a fact. And the reason is, again, interdependence. I don't know what in any way, if anything I've ever done or will do is going to be of help to them, but what I receive from them, one thing I've noticed about them, you cannot do anything for them which they will not repay double or triple. Just try this. So I want to say that all the Tibet House young staff, I'm going to just name them: Tenzin Chodonla, Ashok Kumarji, Tenzin Choktin, Tendol, Tenzin Doma, Dikyong, Sering Dundop, Sitin, Tamding Wangyal, Tenzin Yangzom, Tenzin Kunkyab, and Tenzin Sampilla. They all have worked very, very hard. And of course, I turn next to the Tibetan settlement, very dynamic, who has taken this initiative, and who way back in early November said that, after this conference was discussed and it was decided it was going to happen, he wanted to print all the materials. He was very eager to, sort of, and then we had a lot of discussion about, back and forth on what it takes to, so, so starting there, of course, with his leadership, and there's also Tashi Somo, Tenzin Tukme from the settlement office. They have the Parents Teachers Association of Samyeling, the Tibetan Women's Association, the Tibetology team, and Gangdruk Travels, and people from all of this. So the notion of interdependence. I turn next to the panels. People have, there is a category of scholar and academic, but I just want to say that all the people who participated in each and every panel are very hard to box into any category. And what was so interesting for me is that all of them who positioned themselves as either, I'm just an academic, or I have never thought about the concept of ethics, actually they are living it in an integrated way. The fact that many of them have come from very far for these 2 days, they made time in their schedules. And in a way, why this has worked is because they have actually engaged with this question. We've talked a lot about action and engaging, and they have done that. They continue to do it against all odds, and the odds are great. I hope, so anyway, that came up as well. And I want to also thank all the young audience from the Tibetan Youth Hostel and from Shiv Nada University, and again, interdependence. The fact that I can be a teacher is because you are students. There are these youngsters, and to me, it's very fortunate turn of luck that that's my kind of profession, And you all have, the days that one is thinking about situations in the abstract and feeling a bit depressed. Then you actually go into the classroom, and I've engaged with all of you, and people love to talk about millennials without ever really having come across one in any deep way other than their own family members. And so, you also defy every label. So I think I just want to end there with, it's been a wonderful experience. I don't know about anybody else, but I have learned a lot, taken away a lot, and I've just really enjoyed it. So thank you for this opportunity, and Tashi Dele.
Thank you, Professor Kaveri Gilji. Thank you so much. Next we have Mr. Pinzo Topkela, the head of the Samyeling Tibetan settlement. A few words.
Tilak and Namaskar to all of you. During this 2 days conference, we have discussed universal ethics from various perspectives, implementing education for the well-being of all, its designs, and the role of ethical systems in moving towards that goal were discussed. Healthy mutual relationship in the family and society, and important roles to play in overall being for our persons, along with physical facilities. We need to feel love, care, respect, support, mutual feeling of trust for those nearest to us. To facilitate a conducive environment to support our ethics, education for well-being should ensure harmony at all levels of human existence. It is my firm belief that all the participants who have attended this conference, an overwhelming majority of whom are youth, have these 2 days not only broadened your understanding about the secular ethics, but also develop a firm sense of convictions in the concept of universal ethic. Next, come to the panels of scholars and intellectuals, Professor Ajayji, Professor Saranji, Professor Dr. Jacobji, Mr. Danurauji, Dr. Naviditaji, Dr. Samar Vermaji, and others. I'm sorry I can't name all others here. I would like to thank for all of you for sharing insight and expertise on your universal ethics. Lastly, I must also thank to Geshe-la, Dr. Kavila Gill, staff of the both Tibet House and Sameling Tibetan settlements, as well as executive member of local Tibetan NGOs like Tibetan Women Associations, PTA members, Lobsang Dondubla, Dorjin Namgela, and team, all the sponsor, Chushi Gangdruk associations. They have worked really very hard arranging logistic and whole arrangement. Thank you, and thank you for all. This 2-day conference, we are display the LEDs in the center of our near to the temple, and also it is direct telecast through the online. So I would like to speak few lines in Tibetans. During the Taga Gugitone da si dengegi ta Philippinda mangbuchik to see there. Lagwar du danda kumbe duntang la anchik mi ando mandro gi chedu an nganzu danda lonye dus chen ten shayore dim sonsa ta kandar changme gyulam di gyu che danda chilo ani singe ne da di nanglo shungye ne da kandar dring chulu la madum be ge sangje goti shu goye ge sane gunzi ge lekhong ge goti shu goye di migyu kha mita wa ni do la sha che nge goti shu yore migyu dangbo di the ge migyu di sameling thongma go tsuk we kabla mi cho so so chowa ge che do chang zong che di gi gen gi sane di la en chi mi gi thongnang di en chik khadi ne kyo atang shembaro thong de di nga sane di le che mina thukte kabla dinde sowa shem chuk shembo ji jungso di indi chamba dinde gi ta kanda mi khewa shen chen da ani mi ming yongin soge dinde chik thongde wa sonsang di gi dinde chi ma thongya gi che du kandar 상부의 톤에 산에 디 낭로라 아니 레규 다마다 빼고야 되게 개침부 쉬우지 통체 아니 달리 송디 디 다우디 녀버도 산에 디 낭로라 안수 산이 소고도 삼체 미규 디 디레 디엔드 잠바 다른 대나 팽에 망체와 갸가 직차되어래 남규니 임바이나 산에 디 낭라 패외 갑라 아니 직 가디에나 툭바 모모 간다 셀라 쳐야 랑기 미네 배고르데 다링 대낭 팽에 망체 송디 랑기 미유체 대야 겨울음책이 공바당 튠베 출루라 마덴베기 상주 디기 체도 드링 사멜링낭라 두구여스다는 공바 디키체 드랑 데낭라 팽에 샤다 임바 손상 다링 송디 디기 규체네 간달 사멜링기 따직 민디 따 간달 따조 상부의 토네 따야기 송디 디기 규람ning 아주 드링 소유투바 중요래 승에 삼기여 디지 잠바 디잉에 체기 토네 삼당당 디레 부기 토네 삼당바이나 산에 디 낭로라 김장 숨겨 학차되고요 숨겨 하스기 낭네 다 제저 중리 정아직 다 산에 디 낭로라 공박하기 다직 종하래 딘데 차되어래 디은지 잠바 공박하 저우 임바이나 다직 공배 낭로라 아니 신연지 망부직 차되어래 디인지 잠바 간주 공배기 정강 수기 genkibe 토네 에너직 산에 디 에너직 뉴경기 송지고 마임바 송디야 아니 인지계기 쉬와이나 아니 에카데믹 비즈니스 지가랑 간주 규르투야기 딘데 탑람직 직 용계 요매땅이 미시에때 임바이나 딘데기 상복이 토랑 간주 드로투비아체 디 고츠구에디 곰바체기 고츠 가지나 공바솔라 지당 다 간다를 간지기 토네 퉁게 다 여와 손상 아니 고축 투바이나 아니 디 림베 치네 아니 사멜링기 산에 코랑 아니 시행기 띠네 직차 시행기 띠네 직 야부 직차와이나 아니 딜레기 낭로라 댕이 미망사 마임베기 야가 개용기 다 산에 디 낭로라 아니 페샤사 직다 미베타사기 롱바직 땡땡 차그래 삼기도 페존주 슈바이나 페잖아 치게 다장카기 초소 망부요래 타이완당 딘줄라 디엔드 잠바 디 다장 연기 단다 정강 요와 초기 초소다우 춘주 갭투와이나 페나 공바치기 gen키제 아니 오라 사강 정강 갭 강라이는 가서 단다 아니 직 다와카시기 링라 아니 곰냠린 지야 요교 다가는신 디 낭로라 아니 가서 최시야 요교 아니 디 톡사 강라 아니 미칠로 닐레와이나 아니 디 강발라니데야 총당 냠도 체네 아니 가서 디 아니 직 신기 디네 직 차투나 삼쟁에 미유디 산예랑라 단다 직 고디 슈고에디 미유 디니 케위 토네 엔 딩에 단다 드링 속진 디 고디 슈고에디 디레 최산ning 아주 삼당바이나 드링 디 총디 낭로라 안 하버드 베베 쉔게 땅 아니 갸가기 쉔게 강망망지 페투나스라는 게 디베기 슈여레 슈고에디 가레라나 베베기 쉔게 dun수 임바이나야 로카셰기 낭로라 다 비트네 베메 딕주기 낭로라 겐킹에게 다 간다 코란스 다 선자로 차되어레 다가나신 갸가기 텐럽기 부구든수 임바이나야 로카셰기 낭로라 코란스 파 지존낭라 되엔제 찰레낭의 임바 손사 니니 미기 심베토네 아니 코란스 로카셰기 낭로라 지존낭로라 직 되게 임바 손사 아니 코란스라 아니 상부기 연대인데 단단히 가라운스 그 삼로낭라 루샤와이나 디 규체나 마음바 gen키웨 갑라 아니 코란스 아니 직 하닥다지 차투에게 체도 녜미유 디니 심베토네 다 드링 송디 산이랑라 고티 체데 소 디레 디 인디 잠바 송디 디다 달렌 테마 당부 차되요 녜 삼로나 디유가 산에 디 낭로라 산에 군지기 디유 가츠 하와이나야 디유 하웨 링랑에 무트네 송디디 직 주경 치 도야잉에 답시 땡땡 치기 니 인디 잠바 마음방아 매외 갑라 임바이나야 송디 디타우디 먼저 사멜링 낭로라 조투에 딩에 베전 땡땡 슈기 가전라디 변조기 야당도 단당아 여외 갑네 간데 세고도 디 차상에 방직제 아니 마음바산이 건지 매외 두세 갑라 땡땡에 두 슈기 인스치네 녜디 슈기에 안 달레 고갑 디당 튜인체 아니게 투체나 송 슈고에게 다 송디 디 낭라라 우이 비미 딕주 nga랑스 딕주 리홍기 원에 우이 고모직 nga스 땅요 말에 디 우이 땅에 차장 사멜링 낭로라 총바속이다 나들다 갭조 지제 디 코랑 속에도 송 땅여래 디게 레레 치네 넘버 솔라 아니 디르마 슈초와 지스치네 슈에인 다른 속제 니니 기 조선 차상로 다 촉박하 중류적 숨직도 자기도 자외 에는 게다 촉박하게 레다 차선을 치료를 잘샤유 아니 겨도 다 달람균이 들어와 손사 니 슈샤나 에너지 마옹바 다직 진단난게 임바이나야 무투네 다직 낭투야 알하버도 다직 니 델라 도송 땅샤교디 에네 카세우 차야 랑체 등에 단다 마 슈샤와이나 마디와 게민도 삼게도 달레 셴뎀 낭교기 콩네 단다 스노 리전 까마기 쿠상라네 알라 셴뎀 중요래 다가 나신 군좀 트래블러스 게 쓰도질라네 셴뎀 중요래 아마 케피네 ngauntin lani dus ngachola shendep chungyore busan korean bujung lani shendep chungyore horyak tinelagi dus shendep chungyore tcc gi chokzo tinelagi and chug jinda dang de chajang korang nang yore vision table thailagi dagan shendep nang yore tinzi bag gi korang so gi dan shendep nang yore dojinamge lagi shendep nang yore global travels ne shendem nang yore legden lagi shendem nang yore dagana jin somro ge shendem nang yore an habardo da amji nimachring lagi du shendem nang je kanda shendem nang에 kha chuksum ji chagidu daring songdi cha chu chaya di khurang soge penjo kyabden la ten che cha chu chawa ji lang wonji shuguye di inde chamba dalen shendem nang에 chajang lola nge sane gunji lekhung re godi chokjung re changmege chap shude an tuche na shuyadang an habardo maong ba imbaina yang ganjo da gyaram chege kagon shisung 상조당 대회게 따뜻 미 망부직라 팽에게 레시지 임바 송장 디디신기 나부쪽에 셴덥낭 도에게 배조 나로 나시는 슈에인 타돔딜라데 팽에 창말로라 안 투세시는 슈에인 투체나
Okay, thank you. Punzola, thank you so much for your very inspiring talk. And particularly to summarize, I think that what he spoke in Tibetan for the Tibetans, I think that that's also very helpful if I can make a summary and translate this for the Indian audience. So basically, Kung Punzola, he came up with the concept, the idea of convening this conference for two reasons. One of the short term, and the other the long term. The short term is to get rid of the stigma that Samyeling monastery settlement means is a Momo place. So this is a very bad stigma there. So to say that yes, of course, there's a business happening here, restaurants happening here, but it's not just for these purposes. It's for the academic studies, for learning purpose as well. So this to be seen as a place, as a combination of the business the academic studies or learning centers. Number one. Then number two is a message to all the business runners around, particularly said that there are about like 300 families, plus the restaurants and the guest houses run by the various monasteries for the revenues for their monasteries. And the aspiration that Kung Punzola has is that these monasteries, given that they are in a better position with the financial situation and also the manpower and the education, in terms of the education, the various monasteries, particularly where the academic is very much emphasized, these monasteries, we see that there's a tremendous resources in terms of education, in terms of the financial resources, in terms of the manpower and so forth. So it's a urgent his request, very strong, fervent request to the monasteries who run the business here in the settlement here, that they take the initiative, that when they construct the buildings, the guest houses and so forth, maybe at the top they can have one space dedicated primarily for the public as a public service for the public, for the public to come there and then do the meditation, and then some discourses running there, teachings running there, and programs of universal ethics, such the programs happening there. This is one vision that he has in his mind. And for how long he'll be here in this, as the head of this settlement, is not unknown. But even after him, he's expecting, his anticipation is that this tradition, that the various places here, the restaurants, guest houses, and so forth, they take this initiative to continue this tradition of instilling education, the spirit of education in the minds of the youngsters and the elders alike. So this is the summary. And of course, he also cited the donors, the supporters, financial supporters for this program, listed like 13 groups. 13 groups. Okay, so this is a very dynamic. I'm so inspired, particularly when the first day when I heard that such a program is what he was thinking of initiating. I couldn't really believe that it's coming from the settlement. This was really true of what Kuala said. And later on I discovered that, okay, this young dynamic leader, so this is amazing, very inspiring. So we jumped to help, and then we have Dr. Gabriel there. Okay. Now to make a quick summation of what like a blueprint of, not really necessarily blueprint, my version of the blueprint is that, say, the universal ethics. Well, so the vision, of course, the way before His Holiness the Dalai Lama, there were so many leaders, incredibly great leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Mahatma Gandhi, and then the Bishop Tutu, Nelson Mandela, and then all these great leaders were there. And then meanwhile, we see that today, who's able to really emphasize on this point, the universal ethics, emphasize on the point that the whole world should come together. Whole world should not be seen as, say, the Mars, Pluto, and planet Earth, but as just one globe, one planet Earth. If one destruction happens, let's say the water bodies, the ocean, one ocean is inflicted with the active elements, then the whole ocean is going to be affected, and the whole ocean is affected, the whole 7 planets, the continents are going to be affected, and then where is this, the demarcation of my land and your land? Everybody's going to be affected. So His Holiness is able to see the wider reality, not only of one small place, but the wider reality. And of course, there are many people who can see the wider reality, but of these people who can really work, who can really speak out so courageously for this goal, for the larger goal. This we say that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is really investing all his resources, time, energy, and everything. Wherever he goes, he speaks of this universal ethics. So the point is that this is something so precious for us. And with this in mind, what does it mean by universal ethics? So there, to make it very quick, universal, and the number 2, the ethics. So whether the world is going to finally the world, every citizen of the world, they want happiness. And this happiness, what brings them the happiness, what makes the suffering to go away, that is determined by a set of actions. Actions, physical, verbal, and mental actions. So these actions which bring happiness to the people, this is ethics. These actions which bring suffering on people, these are unethical. This is the point. Then the point is universal. What is meant by universal? Very simple. Say, way Professor Ravindraji said, who wants happiness? Who wants somebody else to harm you? Nobody. That is universal. And we can speak about the universal, then the specifics, and so forth. And who decides universality, and so forth. Don't worry about this. There is a reality there. That nobody wants suffering, and everybody wants happiness. Everybody wants somebody else to praise you. Everybody wants somebody to support you. That is universality. This is universal fact. So, What constitutes, what makes our actions, body, speech, and mind to make yourself happier, to make the world happy? This is the universal ethics. So what is that thing? It's finally determined by your thinking. Your thinking decides what your physical, verbal, and the mental action are going to be like. So that thinking, if it's hovering around compassion, if it's hovering about compassion, all what you do is very beautiful. I keep the scarf like this, it's very beautiful. If I kept the scarf folded, it's very beautiful. Whereas, if the compassion is not there, then the staff puts the scarf like this, there's a problem there. If I put it so folded, so well folded, why it should be too formal? There's a problem there. If it is closed, the lid is closed, there's a problem. It is meant for drinking, it's not to be decorated. If it is open, you even don't know how to put it back. When the heart is not there, everything, whatever the other person does, is wrong. When that happens, a conflict happens. Nobody wants conflict. So this lack of the heart is what creates all the unethical actions. Then, with the heart, everything is beautiful. Everybody around you will become happy. You give a chocolate, it's very happy. You eat something and give them half, even that's even more beautiful. Because he's so kind, she's so kind, look, this is the blessing. Whereas, if you don't have the heart, the person gives you a fresh chocolate. Who cares? Why not iPhone 11 instead of chocolate? So when the heart is missing, everything doesn't make sense. So therefore, the hardcore of the universal ethics, whatever subject, whatever syllables and so forth, these are so precious. Meanwhile, let us not forget that universal ethics is not that you have to wait for somebody to teach you. We all can practice it today, right now, here and then, here and now. So that is, build your good heart. Start from your mother. Don't shout at the mother. The next thing is that what kind of happiness you want. Just when you're in a family, you have a good breakfast, this is what you are looking for, or you want a metro with a very decently planned, properly planned, red lights, no traffic jam. What do you like? Just a good breakfast, or everything like aeroplanes and so forth, or say the fights happening between the countries. So you want that with just a good breakfast? No, I want to make sure that everything is good. Small scale, large scale. For the larger the scale, more the vision you should have, more the intelligence you should have. So that is what is known as the sense of discernment, the ability to distinguish things well, the ability to see things far, wide, and depth. Intelligence is required, plus the heart is required. So where you emphasize, you make sure that you read something on a daily basis, something sensible, rather than always hanging after the PUBG. Instead of that, if you read something sensible a day, one paragraph, one stanza is good enough to build your intelligence. Meanwhile, always think of the poor people. Think of the poor people. Think of what Venerable Jamila has been doing. If possible, at least make a visit there. If possible, make a visit. While you are around Mumbai, make sure that you make a visit to Kranti. There are many such places there, Kranti, and then see what they are doing. At least remember those situations there, how the people are suffering. Remember them, and then you'll see that you have a beautiful heart. You have a beautiful heart. Then you will think of doing something. You will come out of the box and think of doing something. So in other words, universal ethics, 2 points. Increase your intelligence and build your beautiful heart. Build your beautiful heart and increase your, the fearless wisdom. The wisdom and compassion must work together. That is universal ethics. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gishla.
One thing I wanted to say, that actually, so Geshe-la was slip of the tongue saying a lot about Samyeling Monastery, because actually it is one of the historic centers of learning in Tibet. Samye was set up as the first center of learning. So the original academic conference happened in Samye there, and now we are having it in Samyeling in MT.
Yeah.